guys, what is up? RedPandaMining here. How you guys all doing? Hope you're all doing really well and have a really great day. In this video, I just want to go through how the mining profitability has been for this year, and actually I have a bunch of other stuff that I want to go through before I talk about that. So let's begin. I want to talk about the Ethereum all-core dev meeting that happened on August 20th of 2021. Now, this is information that I don't think a lot of people have seen yet. I did talk about it a few days ago in a live stream, but I also wanted to talk about it today because it's now basically confirmed that the merge is not going to happen this year. I know that there's been information out there, especially from Tim Bako, saying that it could happen this year, realistically or optimistically next year, Q1 of 2022. But this core dev meeting that he had, he expressed that it's not going to happen because the client teams have expressed concern and some issues that have come up, I guess, in their development. I'll just quickly read what they're talking about here. So Tim Bako wrote out here, London retrospective takeaways. After speaking with various client teams, here are some of the recurring thoughts that came up about how London went, how we can improve for the merge and their priority in the next 6 months. Testnet deployment. One issue that was highlighted by most teams was the speed and lack of clear success metrics for various testnet deployments. Specifically, the time from various testnets to mainnet felt quick to teams, somewhat forced due to the difficulty bomb, and there was uncertainty about how to react when issues came up. All right, some suggestions of improvements were predefining criteria on testnets, predefining the default path if an issue was found on the testnet, having a checklist of required infrastructure for testnet forks, so on and so forth, having automating alert in case any issues are found on the testnets. So it looks like, yeah, because of that, the client teams have expressed this concern, and so also the difficulty bomb the devs team to have essentially a deadline. Otherwise, the block times are going to go up, the network's going to become slower, and all that stuff. Okay, so going along, they say consensus versus non-consensus changes. Another issue that was highlighted by most client teams and several infrastructure and tooling projects was that the changes were still being done to the JSON RPC API for London close to or even after the fork's mainnet activation. Similarly, it was hard for projects to quickly see what changes had actually been implemented outside of the consensus ones. Some suggestions of improvements were allocating time once the consensus changes were finalized for tooling infrastructure integration, using branches, diffs, versioning on things like execution APIs to highlight the various changes introduced by the network upgrade. Okay, and then finally, which pertains to us miners, which a lot of people were wondering, is the merge going to happen by the end of this year or Q1 of 2022? I mean, it's now confirmed here. Just let me read this. Roadmap for the next 6 months. Every team mentioned that in addition to the consensus changes introduced by the merge, they have a lot of work to do on their clients to improve performance, modularize their architecture to support proof of stake, and onboard new developers. When asked about whether they would like to have a feature fork in December, example, anything outside of the difficulty bomb pushback and possibly some constraints adjustments for EIP 1559, all teams except for one would rather not have it. 2 teams were explicitly against, 1 had people for and people against, but still needs to finalize London support, and 1 was in favor as long as it was done fully separate from the merge. Given this, it seems reasonable to not have a feature fork in December and instead point current EIP champions to the first post-merge fork. Okay, so I think it's confirmed. It's not the merge. All right, guys, you guys can still mine Ethereum all the way to the end of this year, and I guess it's still up in the air when the merge is going to happen, Q1 of 2022 of next year. We'll see if that comes about. But as of right now, you guys can see in what I just read here that the client teams have expressed a lot of concern. And so I guess there's potentially a lot of communication type of issues and don't have enough time. Okay, so let me know what you guys think about that. I guess that's good news for us. All right, going along, I want to talk about now the Ethereum network hash rate. It's now hitting our previous all-time high before the China announcement of banning Bitcoin mining. Okay, so at that same time, you guys can see the network hash rate for Ethereum. I think at the peak was 643 terahash on May 20th. I think that was the same time as the China announcement. Okay, but then after that, you can see the network hash rate drop off a cliff, just a whole bunch here. I guess all the way down until let's see, June 25th, the network hash rate went down to 481 terahash. So that's quite a big drop, right? I'm not sure if that's all because of China, but I'm also going to contribute that to the price of Ethereum because you can see here, let's go to May 20th. Okay, so the price of Ethereum during that time was, I think it had a big drop, actually. It had a really big drop. So let's go to May 20th, May 19th. So it was about 2,500, right? Before that, it was 3,400. So that was about pretty much $1,000 drop from May 18th of May 20th, 19th. Okay, so and then May 20th, that's when the peak of mining Ethereum was at the highest peak of the network hash rate. And then lo and behold, China announced, banning Bitcoin mining. And I think a lot of miners were turning off during this time, and China was turning off, obviously. And maybe some people were selling their GPUs because they're like, oh, it's the bear market. And we went down to like 1,800. But look at us now. We're now back up to 3,149 as of recording this video. But anyways, yeah, the network hash rate, I believe we are now hitting a new all-time high. According to the chart, actually, let me just zoom in. And okay, so the peak of May 20th was 643 terahash averaging. And then the average as of recording today, August 25th, we're at 646. Okay, so I believe we are now at the highest point ever for the network hash rate on Ethereum. And also the difficulty, I guess that also you guys can see here, pretty much relative to the network hash rate, is also the network difficulty is going much higher, okay, at 8,224. Okay, so that's, yeah, it's getting higher. I'm going to assume a lot of you guys are seeing maybe your yields mining Ethereum, you're getting less and less, okay, which I'll show you guys an example in a sec here. But, mining profitability, I just want to touch on that mining profitability this whole year, not just in August, it's still been amazing. Since mining, let's say back in July, like the DeFi summer back in 2020, you guys know back then, right, there's a lot of transactions, and so all of us miners were getting those transactions on the blocks. And so the network hash rate back then, okay, if I just go reset back here, let's see, let's go to summer of 2020 was about 190 terahash, okay, which was extremely low. Like people mining back then, you were able to yield a lot of Ethereum back then. But now, which I'm going to show you right now, let me show you an example, okay, that let me show you back in January 8th of 2020. Okay, so a single RX 580 rig was able to yield 0.0148 Ethereum. Okay, this was back in January 8th, sorry. I don't have a video example of the middle of 2020, but I'm going to have to say the yields were probably a lot higher because of DeFi, the decentralized finance during that time. If some of you guys remember, during that time, we've seen a lot of blocks that were, pretty high, right? Like 8 Ethereum per block, 12 Ethereum per block. That happened during that time. And then lo and behold, right, the beginning of the bull run, like a massive bull run that we had back in January 1st, that's when we saw the prices of crypto just go up like a lot, right? And so during this time, the Ethereum network was really busy, along with, NFTs and DeFi, all that stuff contributed to the transaction fees being extremely high, and thus all the miners were able to yield a lot more of Ethereum and also profitability, right? The fiat number. It was really nice during that time. And so now, all right, if we do a single RX 580 rig, let me just do 180 because that's what I do with my previous videos. If I hit calculate here, 10 cents kilowatt hour, you can see now basically a single RX 580 rig, 6x RX 580 rig is yielding 0.0042 Ethereum. Okay, and so if you look what happened back in January 8th of 2020, we were yielding a lot more than that back then versus now. And so what I wanted to explain a little bit further here, reason why profitability is so nice right now and why isn't it like, maybe back in January 8th of 2020, is because obviously the price of Ethereum, okay, it's got up a lot more than it was back in January of 2020, which was like $137. Okay, now it's like $3,200, right? But if you look at the network hash rate back in January 8th of 2020, right, let's just say it's about 184 terahash. All right, think about right now, it's about 646. So how many times has the network hash rate, maybe tripled, only tripled, versus how many times has the Ethereum price gone versus now, right? Let's see here. Let's see, 2020, so 137. How many times is that? I can't even do the math on that. Is that like 15 times, 30 times or something? So yeah, there's not enough hardware out in the world right now to fill up the network hash rate to stay at the same level in terms of the profitability. That's why it's just gone up so much more. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't know if I explained that right, but that is why it's just so nice right now to be mining, because it's profitable per se in terms of fiat, but we are getting less Ethereum rewards. Okay, so hopefully that kind of gives you guys some perspective, right? Mining during the bear market, you're yielding a lot more of the coins, and say if you were hodling up until this price action that we had this half year, then man, you'd just be laughing, right? You'd just be laughing because you're yielding a lot more during the bear market, and people are not wanting to mine because it's not profitable, right? I've shown you this. I was here during the bear market during these unprofitable times, but it was still technically profitable depending on what your electrical cost is, of course. If you have like 20 cents or 30 cents during the bear market, you were probably not mining because it just didn't make sense for you. So that's a whole nother thing, right? I know that mining, it may not make sense for everyone, but it can make sense for those that have cheap electrical cost. And when people have cheap electrical cost, obviously those guys are going to be winning out, obviously. So it sucks. It's not fair in that aspect. But hey, I guess that's life, right? Okay, anyways, guys, I think that's it. I explained, mining right now, it's still great. I'm not quite sure. I guess to end off, this is maybe something if people want to answer, how much longer is this bull run gonna stay up this high? Or, mining profitability wise has been great for the past, I would say, almost a year and a half, since DeFi summer of August or July of 2020. Okay, that's when mining Ethereum specifically has been really, really profitable. So I want to know what you guys think. How much longer is this going to last? It's been lasting for, yeah, like I said, like a year or more now, and it's been good. I don't think there's been a time really where it's been this amazing. I can't really put that into history, I guess, depending on your electrical cost, but it's generally been pretty nice. So I want to know what you guys think, and yeah, and all that other stuff I explained in the beginning about Ethereum and the merge not happening this year. Let me know your guys' thoughts on that. Okay, I appreciate you all. Thank you all so much. I'll see you guys in a nice, fun giveaway video for tomorrow. Okay, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, and peace out.